Alright, take 74. Right. Okay. First of all, I actually hate... Okay, first of all, I really don't like talking to camera. I find it so weird, awkward, uncomfortable. It is literally me sat in a room on my own, looking at a camera, talking to myself. It's bonkers. Okay, anyway, most importantly, I want to say thank you so much to all of you guys who have just constantly showed nothing but patience and love and support for so long. Some of you have been supporting me literally from the beginning of my YouTube days, which was about 10 years ago. Some of you guys have been around for a couple of years. Some people may have just started following me yesterday, and you know, maybe some people will discover this video and have no idea who I am, in which case check out some of my other videos just so you know what the hell I'm talking about. But I've had quite a lot of messages recently, in fact not just recently, but I've had lots of people asking, where have you been? What are you doing? Where's the music? Are you still signed? Are you not signed? Are you releasing music? What's going on? Basically, Lex, where the fuck is your music? And stop posting pictures of your dogs. I know I'm rubbish on social media, and it's because I overthink everything, just like I am probably overthinking this video right now. But I promise I'm gonna work on that. Anyway, so I wanted to answer those questions, and basically I thought this video would be a good way of me just explaining myself to everyone. Yeah, I feel like I owe you guys an explanation because everyone has been so amazing. So hopefully this video will help explain my situation. One thing I will say is I absolutely don't want this to be like a pity party. This is not to try and get anyone to feel sorry for me. This is not a woe is me video by any means. Like, I hate that. I don't feel sorry for myself or anything, but this is purely just me trying to explain what's been going on so you guys can understand. It was all a bit of a whirlwind after I set my YouTube channel up back in the day, and the next thing I knew I had signed a record deal, which wouldn't have happened had you lot not watched and shared my videos. Basically, a couple of months before I was due to put out my first single with the label, my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer, and then he passed away really quickly, a couple months after he was diagnosed. And he actually died the day before my 25th birthday, which was shit. And so whilst obviously making music and releasing music and doing music videos and photo shoots and gigs and that sort of thing, whilst that was an amazing distraction, I was just going through the motions, and really that is all it was. It was a distraction. My heart wasn't in it. Yeah. And I fell out of love with music, if I'm honest. And everything was a blur. I had already recorded a ton of songs with the label that had come from incredible songwriters and producers, but the songs weren't my story. And I wasn't creatively involved. I was just the voice on the records, and I knew deep down that this was not the music that I really wanted to make. I was never forced to do anything, but I ended up saying yes to things that creatively and artistically I just knew weren't me. Their vision of who I was as an artist didn't match my vision, and to be honest, at that time I don't think I really knew who I was anyway. I was too busy going through a lot of personal stuff. And then a couple of years later, just as I had started to get my head around the fact that my dad had died, my mum, who had already been battling cancer for 19 years, she had breast cancer, it had spread to her bones and her liver. We then found out that it had spread to her brain, and she passed away a couple months after we found that out. So this was less than 3 years after losing my dad. And so at that point, not only had I fallen out of love with music, but I'd fallen out of love with life. I tried to put on a brave face as much as I could, and it's easier to do that on social media because you can paper over the cracks and you can add a filter and make everything look better. But the fact is, she was my best friend and it was really shit. So I obviously was beyond heartbroken, and it was hard enough just going about my day. So I really was not thinking about my career and my music at that point. Plus, a year after that, my nan passed away on Christmas Day. So within the space of 4 years, I found myself with no parents and no grandparents. Merry fucking Christmas. But as tragic and heartbreaking as all of this was, I eventually turned to music for therapy. I was able to express everything that I was feeling through music, and it was an outlet for all of my emotion. So it's taken me a few years to get back on track. I left the label. We parted on great terms, and I couldn't be more grateful for the experience that they gave me. It was amazing. Got to travel to cool places, met some incredible people, some of my idols. Beyonce smells like vanilla and told me she likes my shoes. So maybe it was bad timing and it wasn't meant to be, but I really do have nothing but love for everyone that I worked with during my time at that label. But now I'm free to be me, and I've fallen back in love with music. I've got my own stories to tell. I'm making my own music, and it's music that I love with all my heart. And the process has helped me get through one of the most difficult times in my life. It really, really has been like therapy for me. And I have written, produced, and engineered everything that I've worked on, and now it's time to share it with you guys. So for the first 6 months of 2020, I'm gonna release an original song. The first one will be out at the end of January, and then there'll be one in Feb and March and so on. Don't worry, they're not all about people dying, but they are an expression of what I've experienced in the last few years. I will end the video like I started it by saying thank you. I honestly mean it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so grateful for you lot for constantly supporting, just loving me and supporting me and following me and being interested in me and sharing my music, sharing my videos. I know I haven't done many, but I promise there's more to come. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for supporting me through the most difficult time in my life. So watch this space. Make sure you're following me on all socials. First song will be out at the end of January. I'm so excited for you to hear it. I'm back. I'll always be a work in progress, but I'm better than I've ever been. And this year will bring lots of new music. And I really, really cannot wait to share it with you guys, finally. And I hope you all love it and connect with it as much as I do. If you're still here, actually still watching and listening, apologies for my verbal diarrhea. But thank you. And I love you. Loads. Fuck off. Interesting.